Hey, and we are live. This is Mark Gassert. Mark's message from Peachtree Corners, the peachiest place on the planet. And as you know, I'm going to give my shout outs here. I am going to give my first shout out to Grow Live Nation, all my brothers and sisters of the live stream, emerging sales winners as well. Everybody in the entire state of Georgia, Peachtree Corners. Like I said, it is the peachiest place on the planet. And tonight I have a very distinguished guest here, a Canadian, Mr. Tony Thorpe. Before I bring him on, just a little update about Tony. He's worked in sales for over 15 years. Past 9 years, he's worked at Labor United, moved from Vancouver, British Columbia to Halifax, Nova Scotia. He says, I've had life-changing opportunities. And the next chapter in my life with my amazing wife and two girls is about to unfold. Now, just real quick, he has a passion for playing guitar, softball. He loves baseball currently. He's playing, I think, softball. Loves hockey, writing, singing, chess. I don't know what else. The guy's a soothsayer, magician. He must do all things, be all things to everybody. And, he plays chess, so that scares me. No, I'm just kidding. But without further ado, I'm going to bring on Mr. Tony Thorpe.
Thanks for having me, Mark.
Hey, awesome. Thank you for joining us on Mark's Message. It's a privilege and an honor to have a Canadian on my show.
Am I your first?
No, first Canadian?
Yeah,
I believe so.
That's awesome.
Not that I've never dealt with Canadians before, because as a child, we used to go to like Algonquin State Park. I met a ranger there, forest ranger, Emmett Chartrand. He whittled a ore out of pine. Mm-hmm. He showed how you survive in the bush, as they say. And there was also a place. There were like these huge docks and dikes. Big ships would come in there.
Yeah.
And as kids, we were fascinated to watch them move in and out. But very familiar. We always camped in Canada. That was a family outing. My father was real big about that. So we enjoyed. We had a great run. My dad lived to be 95. But enough about me.
Awesome.
I got to ask you a quick question here.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Tell me about the Pro Stars hockey tours. Tell me what's going on with that.
I should have brought that jersey in. So Treva Hilt is the owner. I met her at my friend's store, Sport Wheels, who I am an ambassador for. And she was in there getting these jerseys made up. And being hey Ron, being the salesy guy that I am, I love talking to people. I love getting to know people. I love helping people. I just struck up this conversation with her, and the jerseys that she was asking, where does the captaincy go? And I said, well, right here, right over the heart, right? Like, and the guys did something wrong, and anyways, it had to get fixed, but they fixed it, and it was awesome. So I got to play hockey with Brian Trottier, Cliff Ronning, Mike Krushelinski, who won a bunch of stamps.
Wow.
It was really cool. 2 years in a row I got to do it, and this year I got my brother out, and we both got to play with Cliff Ronning, who was a childhood hero of ours. So it was really cool. And then go to the after show, and all the money we raised went to first responders. So it was
wow, that's tremendous. That is cool.
Yeah, it's really awesome. But I've actually, if you go by my LinkedIn thing, I have to update that because the new adventure is I have a third daughter. And
oh my goodness!
I've been in sales now for 20 years, so that's how old that is.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah.
Well, this will be really good to delve into this. So let me ask you this, Tony. I just have a quick question. Since you've been in sales this long, and you've seen what's happening, like pre-COVID, COVID, mm-hmm. post-COVID. Mm-hmm. I got to say a shout out here. Tom Lord saying hello. Tim, thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Tim's a good guy. He's going to tell you how it is. Tim's a good dude. I felt a connection with him right away. He's a good dude.
Cool.
Yeah.
And feel free, guys, if you want to share it out, go for it. We don't mind.
Sure. Yeah.
But
so Bruin, hey, we gave you that in 2011. So you're asking what changes have I seen? Well, I think how we met all through Jeffrey Gittimer, and Jeffrey Gittimer basically changed my life. I thought I knew it all until I found his books about 6 years ago. My stepdad was a super successful, or still is a successful businessman, immigrated from Germany to Canada right after World War II.
Wow.
And yeah, he gave me all this advice that Jeffrey Gitomer's giving us. He gave it to me in 1998, and I thought I knew everything, right? He told me to like read on I thought, read on weekends? What the hell is he talking about? But I didn't realize, and I got books there, but we'll get to that. Sorry, I digress off of your question though.
No, I mean, real quick, like what things have you seen change now? You know, we've been through the pre-COVID, we're going through COVID, now this pandemic, you know, so you've been in sales long enough. I'm sure. Are things the same? Are they different? You know, what do you notice?
For me, how I approach it is a lot different. But it's the technology side of it, right? Because you can't just go and have a meeting or pop in and see somebody. Like in my industry, I work in staffing. I work for people already. I've been there for 5 years in September. So I need to update that on LinkedIn. Eric Bam's going to kill me because of my social media presence, but hey,
don't worry about it.
Yeah, I'm going to get a Bam. Anyways, but no, it's changed where I think I've always been a connecting, caring person. I don't feel like I've ever sold anything to anyone, right? And what I try to tell people, my people that look on salesmen like the greasy car salesman from the 1970s, is that, you know, I do what I love. I help people find work. I help people find a career, and I help companies find their employees, because there's so much turnover, and I think a lot of it has to do with people. You know, what Jeffrey Gitomer says about resigning yourself to being the center of the universe, because everyone thinks they know it all, and I was that way. I totally was. It's only been the last 5-6 years that I've changed, and I owe it, a lot of it, to the readings, all of Jeffrey Gitomer's books. I turned my car into a mobile university. Jim Rohn, all them, right? And changed my life.
Right. So. That's awesome. So let me ask you, with that stated, Tony, how do you accelerate your current or future clients to win as well as their customers? So what do you do to bring something to the table? Because we always talk about bring an idea instead of a canned sales pitch. So I'm just curious, how do you approach that in your industry?
Well, I build relationships, and I drive my bosses nuts because I'm not a CRM guy. Like, I have my CRM and I have to fill it out and populate it, but I get in trouble because I feel it's the third most reliable source of information, right behind me and the customer.
Right.
And it's basically, I mean, I might get in trouble. I'm not even going to say it. We'll just forget about the negative. But, you know, I just find I make connections, and in Nova Scotia, it's very different selling here than it was in Vancouver. Vancouver was just like bam, 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 go, 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 right?
Right.
In Nova Scotia, we are all connected here. Everyone knows each other. You know, someone's brother, sister, and it's very small town. Everyone's really friendly, and it's just a slower pace. But you know what? I've made relationships with people that I feel will last forever, you know. So, and that's just through doing what I do every day.
Right. And that's important to keep relationships. So with that, you know, what are you currently doing right now to further develop yourself? Like on a daily basis, what does Tony Thorpe, you get up in the morning? Yep. I'm often curious about salespeople. So everybody has nuances.
Yeah.
Like we've got Ron Goodwin out here, Tim Lord. I'm sure they could share, and feel free, guys, to make comments.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, what do you do? You know, like, how do you prep yourself for your day?
Well, that's something I've been working on, because I always struggled with the schedules. I was always like, go with the flow, very artsy, right? And it just doesn't work. It doesn't work. And in sports, like, you're an umpire, you know, you've been around baseball. You have to be committed. You have to be focused, and you have to work hard, right? And so I get up at 5 a.m. now. I'm going into my office for 6. I was terrified during COVID because I do have bronchitis. I didn't, you know, when I hear it was a thing for the lung. I said, I can do everything from home with Hippo Video. Everything we've learned through the Emerging Sales Winners course is just, you know, paid off in spades for me, right? And that's where I'm making those changes, is using technology, using social media, stuff like that.
So you brought up something near and dear to my heart, and some of these gentlemen I've seen on emerging sales winners, W rather. What tell me about that? What does that do for you? Like that 959 thing. Now, if anybody's tuning in here, they're going to say, what's he talking about 959?
Well, my
But
kids even tune into that with me, right? And Jeffrey Gitomer sent a couple of books to me and my kids. Because my 8-year-old daughter created a gratitude tree. Because every night we have dinner, we sit around the dinner table and we say, what are we grateful for? What are we thankful for, right? Because there's so much going
thank
wrong.
you, Tom Ginn. Thank you, Tom.
Yeah, thank you, Tom. You rock. There's so much negative things happening in the world, right? I turned the news off years ago. And so we always focus on what are we grateful for? What are we thankful for? I'm grateful for all the relationships I've made, through Gitomer Live, through the group I was in, Megamind. They're going to be doing huge things. They're great. And, the emerging sales winners, it's like people like yourself who we shoot messages to each other, it's just different. I'm sending voice messages to friends, to customers, and just being really positive, right?
Right. And that's a great point. And here's my lead into this. Everybody says that, this is going to go away. It's a phone, as you can see. And we kid about it. But is it a balanced blend, Tony, of using this, your email, your social media platforms? I'm going to get to something really cool here in a moment. And then you get into this virtual thing like live streaming, like the Grow Live Academy. That's a Ken Walls-ism. And thank you, Ken, for providing this platform for those of us that use it. And for those of you that don't know it, I'm going to do something about live streaming. And then you get into Hippo Video and the importance of that. So does that take you to another level? Do you think that really helps you by doing that?
Oh, absolutely it does. It's so different. Like I sent messages out even to my competition saying, look, we're competition. Competition's healthy. I hope you have a great day. I hope you're successful, but save some business for me so I can feed my kids. And they
that's pretty good. I like that.
Well, my mom owned a comedy club in just outside of Vancouver, so I do, comedy is big for me too, right? Like I'm a very jovial, carefree, happy-go-lucky person. I love to laugh, and I think if you can add some humor to make them laugh, like my competitors, they respect me. Like I actually have a competitor who's no longer doing the on-demand
video email. See what Tom says right here, and Tom's a coach, and he's a business person of many years, and he has a lot of wisdom. So he's telling us right here, there's nothing wrong with it.
Absolutely, absolutely agree. The video emails are huge. But so I contacted a former competitor who I interviewed with about 5.5 years ago, and we struck up a conversation. I asked, "How are you doing? How are you doing? How have things been during COVID? How's the family, right?" And then I said, "Hey, I heard a rumor that you're not doing the on-demand stuff anymore. That's something I can do. I didn't, that's something I do. I didn't say that to her. I said I can help." And we're helping each other.
See what Phil Geich said? Hey guys, Tony Thorpe. Oh my God, is there anything you don't do, my man?
Laundry.
Hey Phil, he said laundry. So there you go. He said he doesn't do laundry.
No, that's a lie.
I got to share something, and Tony knows this. When we first hooked up on Emerging Sales Winners, the name Thorpe, it means something to me because I grew up in Pennsylvania, Carlisle, Indians, and Jim Thorpe was a tremendous athlete.
Yeah. My Jim Thorpe was not. My Jim Thorpe was, he worked at Rolls-Royce in Derby, England. And during World War II was a sniper.
He just did his laundry. Okay, Phil.
Good. But ours is done because we're heading to Prince Edward Island. We're heading to Cavendish. I challenge anyone to look it up there. It's absolutely beautiful, right on the ocean.
So with that, when we hooked up, I teased you about being, an offspring of Jim Thorpe.
Yeah.
But if anybody, check him out, what he did in the Olympic Games. Just incredible, amazing athlete. So what do you think? Like you and I hooked up this way virtually.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this is the discussion we have with some people that don't want to do this. that don't want to go live, number one, or they don't want to use hippo video, number two.
Yeah.
And Tim and Tom and Ron, feel free to throw in your 2 cents as well. And this is, some people really struggle with this.
Yeah, I love it.
I think like this right here, I got to learn to tone it down, but it has helped me tremendously.
Oh,
when I get on the phone with a CEO, I'm like laughing inside. The worst thing he's going to say is no. Who cares? So what?
Oh, absolutely.
And I don't worry about it.
I agree. I'm drinking my Gatorade. See, I'm all
cool.
Sports and business, buddy. It's my two things. But no, I agree with you. And I think
Thanks,
I've been doing live things, going Facebook Live for a while. It's something I actually entered this contest to be the rep for DeMarini. And you've heard of DeMarini, the baseball bats, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, for our viewers out there. Anyways, I was the only one that entered the contest that made a video, and I lost by 11 votes. To a guy.
Thank you, Tim. That's great that you're doing that as well. Thank you. Yeah. I think that's tremendous that you're using LinkedIn for that tool. That's awesome.
Absolutely. But yeah, making videos, that's like you say, going live, like that's how Sport Wheels, I got the ambassadorship, right? They've been around since 1947, a local owned business sporting goods store, and they ship all over North America. And I got a gig being an ambassador by promoting the store with video. It's not going away. It's only going to get more intense, and the quality of things will get better, right? And I think you're going to see more virtual meetings. It'll cut down on travel costs for businesses, right?
And Ron brought up a great point. Zoom, absolutely, Ron. And just if you don't mind, I'm just going to jump in here. The other day, I worked with an organization, and we were training 20 salespeople, and they wanted Microsoft Teams, but we did it, and it was an awesome thing. I mean, I couldn't believe, how. And we were supposed to initially have to go to New Jersey, and there we were doing it virtually, and everybody was cool with it.
Yeah, we do the same. We have a weekly safety call that is. We do a weekly safety call on Zoom.
Thank you, brother Bam.
Thank you. I will. And Eric, I mentioned you earlier. You're going to kill me because of my LinkedIn's not been updated. And that's, like Eric's so good because I actually just found out, and this is how bad I am with technology, that you can link your Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and all that. You can put it all together. And I'm like, that's phenomenal. And,
Bill uses StreamYard.
Yeah, StreamYard's great. Eric was mentioning getting your domain name, right? Like Tony Thorpe, right? And have that way people can find you when you're doing your branding, right? So, and it's daily.
Tom's always going to hit you with that why thing, and that's a good thing. Know your why. Nothing wrong with that. And relationships, I think that's tremendous. Thank you, Tom, for sharing that.
In my top 10 books by Simon Sinek, start with why.
Yeah.
I have my top 10 books here that you have to read to be successful, and this is one of them. This is another one. It's called Business Without the Bullshit, because this is a fantastic book. It talks about how to deal with different types of bosses, the bullies at work, stuff like that. Because it's the truth.
I may need to get that.
There is that stuff. I'm going to share these two. I got them here. I'm ready for this. The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck.
Oh my goodness, who's writing these books, man?
No, seriously, this book is phenomenal, and the title put me off for years of not reading it. And I finally saw it at the airport. I was coming back from Chicago for work, and I saw it, and I kept seeing it. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to get it. And I bought it. I read it, loved it. I've read it a couple times, got the audiobook, and don't let the title put you off because it is huge. Another one, Grant Cardone, 10X Rule.
Yep.
You got it. Everything by Grant Cardone, Gary Vaynerchuk, Jeffrey Gitomer. You have to have it. Jeffrey Gitomer talks about this, Thinker Toys by Michael Mihalko.
Yep.
You have to read this.
He's got them all, guys. I don't have some of these books, so you're
I actually have a library. I have a library where I've gone. I've had Zoom calls with these guys, Phil, Tim, and them. And I've had my library behind me, and all these books I've got.
I always like Ron. He's so politically correct, not giving and then he epic.
Yeah, it is
no, I'm teasing you, Ron. I do the same thing. I don't feel real comfortable spelling it out. And then Phil says the why is your major definite purpose as defined by, thank you, Napoleon Hill. Yes, he talks about that.
Eat Your Frog by Brian Tracy. Phil knows also well about he knows a lot about that book.
Right.
Gary Vaynerchuk, Crush It.
Right, crushing it. And here's the thing, Tony, you're pulling out books. So obviously you read, I read, and some people think that's weird. Like sometimes my wife wants to come out and talk with me when I'm on the deck and it's like 6:30, 6:45. You got to be kind of cool about this, how you handle it. But I said, this is my time here. So she's like, okay, I'm sorry. You know.
Yeah, I try and read in the morning when I get up. I like to read for about 15 minutes to half an hour.
There are only so many that.
Yeah, that's what that book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving an F, talks about. Is that you can't. Anyways, what are your top? Everyone should do right now in business: social media, voice and video messages, being authentic, and admitting when you've made a mistake. Because I've wronged a lot of customers. I thought I knew it all, and you know what? I'll eat crow. I just want to share the last 3 books that everyone's read.
Go ahead, please.
Think and Grow Rich.
Absolutely. Hey, now you've got the more. I want to get that version because if I share you mine, you can take a look at mine. This is $2.95 worth of fun. I won't tell you how long I've had it, but I'm not. I've got that too. I'm not embarrassed because it's highlighted. Oh, absolutely.
I found I want to invest in myself. So my entire library was funded by dollars.
There you go. Here's another one that Tom's sharing, 5-second rule, Mel Robbins. And that's why I like doing this.
I have that book.
You get all this collaborative.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. That's the ultimate.
50.
Oh, where'd you get that at? I hate
Bibles for Mission. Bibles for Mission. It's a Christian thrift store. And all the proceeds go to different missions to help people out. So it's really cool. And they've helped populate my library. And I've probably spent
I love that. Thank you, Ron. Eat pizza and listen to Mark's message. Okay.
I want to know, Ron, are you still thinking of moving here or what? You going to move to Nova Scotia, my friend? We had a Zoom call. He called me. He called me.
That's cool.
His business card, that coin is the coolest thing ever. I showed my wife. And I said, Ron gets it because I showed my friend who's owns Sport Wheels. I said, what do you think of this business card? He's like, that's amazing.
Yeah. And Tim, that's a great quote there. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate that. And that brings up my next point. But Tim, everybody is so afraid what they're thinking about you. And I just don't worry about it anymore. Just go out and do something because people aren't thinking about you or me right now. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. You always have to
whoever. They're just not worrying about you. So get over it and just get on with life.
Let me ask
you a Carnegie grad. Okay, Phil.
I want to ask everyone something. How many bills have you paid with other people's opinions? 0. Who cares what they think? That's why that book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, talks about. Like what sport teams do you like?
Look at Tom here. If you read, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but 4 to 5 books. Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah. That's what I'm working on, and I'm talking about different books.
Well, try audiobooks when you're driving. If you have to go somewhere on a road trip, put in the audiobooks. I even do it with my kids. Sable Island. Okay, cool.
I'll tell you, that Ron Goodwin graphics, man, the guy's on top of it. Yeah. What do we got here? Phil, what's in it for me? And
no, it actually means something else. And I know this because he just talked about the other day. And I've already forgot. I'm sorry, Phil. Coach Phil's going to make me do laps.
People only think about themselves. Correct. Yeah. Thank you, Tom.
But there is something about being selfish that is, when you are selfish, you're developing.
Wow. Phil says read a book a week. That's killer.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's important. I encourage my kids to read, and I think it's good when they see me and the wife reading.
Right.
And I listen to the audiobooks. And my kids, I'll tell you something. I was having a bad day, and I was cussing, and my daughter said, "You need more Gittimer." And kid you not. Like she, and
Yeah.
they've got their little gold books of yes attitude, and they created that gratitude tree, and they put
Right.
everything what we're grateful for on
Well,
it.
speaking about that,
Yeah.
you talked about Jeffrey. What, like when you hear that word yes attitude, like a lot of people, they look at you like you're weird. Like I know at work, I'll say that, yeah, I'm working on my yes attitude. And they're like, excuse me, what are you talking about? And
Yeah, I don't care what people think about me.
yeah,
I've been, you know what? I'll tell you why I'm so good at sales. I was telling this to my wife the other day. Sales and dating are very similar. I was terrible at dating. I've been rejected so much that I don't care, right? Like I've been rejected. That's why sales is easy to me. It's easy for me to talk to people and connect with people, right? But I just my people's opinions. People are always going to have an opinion of you and stuff, and you're going to have insecurities. But at the end of the day, if you're
Tom says get attitude, Glenn Bill. Yeah, these are all great.
oh yeah,
Sometimes you got to work though. Don't get me wrong. I mean,
well
that's
yeah,
why you got to
work,
devise
right?
a plan, and make it
Right.
work for you, implement it. But Phil, I'm getting mesmerized here by she knows best. Tony Thorpe, you had the
Yeah, well, she does. But hey, I was gonna say it's Mark, the thing I relate because I played sports my whole life. I never realized that it was so transferable to like teamwork and everything in business and leading people and setting up your schedule to be successful. I read Todd Stollmeyer's book, Relentless Success, and he talks about it, and it's a phenomenal book. I've actually connected with him on LinkedIn, and
Oh, wow.
he's a former pitcher for the Blue Jays.
Wow.
His dad was a real good pitcher for the New York Yankees. And he's doing the motivational speaking. He's the positive attitude, the healthy living, and it's I don't know. Sometimes in life, it takes you a while to get there. Some people get it early in life. Some people might not, right?
Right.
And I don't think it matters what age you are when you start to figure this stuff out, right? Like
Right.
Colonel Sanders wasn't successful until he was like, what, 75, 80 years old.
Wow.
Walt Disney wasn't until he was 75. So I feel at 44, I've been learning this stuff for the past 5-6 years and really putting it into practice. And I've seen huge growth in my business relationships, personal relationships, my relationship with my wife and kids. It's just paid off in spades.
That's great, man. I'm so glad to hear that because some people don't believe in self-development and bettering yourself and hanging around. And that's why I say, who do you hang around? Your sphere of influence. What are you reading? What type of content are you listening to out there? Even if it's TV related, radio related, because there's a lot of garbage.
Oh,
and
yeah.
a lot of opinionated stuff.
Yeah.
But if you go back just to that, you were saying about Think and Grow Rich, okay, Napoleon Hill. That book's been around for how long? There's got to be some truth, wisdom, knowledge to that document. I mean, I'm sorry, but
and the books that even like there was like Jeffrey had mentioned on his show today, there was the book that preceded that book by 20 years, I believe. I have it upstairs. The title escapes me.
Are you talking about Truthful Living?
Yes.
Yeah, I have it. Yeah.
And there's stuff that even predates that, like As Man Thinketh, I think came before Think and Grow Rich. And that's a fantastic read as well. But it's all about, encouraging people.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, Ron. Oh, here, I got to share you this. Success. That's interesting.
I consider myself successful. I'm successful, and tomorrow I'm going to be more successul, right? Because every day I'm going to put in that work, that effort.
Right.
And it's just like, if you're training for a boxing match or you're training to play baseball or you're taking golf lessons, you just
Thank you, Phil. I couldn't remember that, but yes, you were absolutely correct. 1913, first published.
Okay. I actually thought Think and Grow Rich was later than that. Huh. I'm not going to look. We're talking here. We're going to.
I know, yeah. But thank you for sharing that, Phil. I really appreciate this. And, just being around a bunch of winners like this, and to me, you guys are, everybody that's on here, because you have a choice. You could be watching TV, kicking back, having a brew or something. And I'm not knocking that, but, you guys are here and, look at this, the science of getting rich. there's so much great material out there to read, and now
Yeah.
you can get on the internet and check it out and see, what's
Yeah.
what, who's who. You can get on YouTube. Here's something else. Boy, did I screw up that message. Yeah, it's okay, Tom.
You know what, Tom? There's not a
Okay.
billionaire in the U.S. that hasn't made a mistake. So
Yeah.
that's how we learn. Mistakes are great. You know, the softball team I coach, I try and implement that attitude. And, you know,
The
I'm
Flames
positive.
lost today, I guess is what he's trying to. Yeah, lost.
Well,
Okay,
all right, I'm
gotcha.
a Mets fan. I think that's great.
But you brought up some. So we talk about people.
Yeah.
What type of person are you? And Eric brought this to my attention about your
Mhm.
social media
Yeah.
should also be encompassed with your business
Yeah.
media. It should all be one. And
Yeah.
you see this right here. This is a mask, and this is a Star Wars mask. Since we're in COVID,
Yeah.
and then and people hide behind masks, right? And
Yeah.
then if you want to get crazy, you can hide behind this bad boy, which I do, which
Yeah.
will give you a different perspective on things when you're behind the plate. But it's all about, that's why I ask you, how do you prepare? What do you do? And
Yeah.
I ask people this all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, baby science of getting rich. Yeah, cool.
Yeah. I have that
Thank
one
you,
too.
Tom. And I think what people struggle with, and if you look at, like you mentioned, Jeffrey Gitomer,
Yeah.
I'll mention Grant Cordon, I'll mention Ken Walls. Um, there's other people out there. It's just
Yeah.
not right here. But even here, like Phil or Ron, if they saw you banging at a wall, not when I say that,
Yeah.
what these guys are able to do, or even Napoleon Hills of the world, or
Yeah.
whoever it is, they show you where the door is, man. That's all they're doing.
You know
Instead
what?
of just trying to go through a wall, they're like, "Hey, Tony, look right
Yeah.
there. Go for it now. There it is. It's
That's
waiting for you."
huge. See, and that's like, as I mentioned earlier about my stepdad coming from Germany and having all this knowledge. And I was the fool because I sat there and I
With
could have
purpose.
picked his
Good,
brain.
good, Tom.
And there's something that I think the younger generation could figure out, and I always relate things to one another, is a lot of kids play video games, right? And when you first, and this is I'm going to relate this to life in a sec here, and this
Right.
is where the younger generation would they play these video games. So if I've already played the game and I know how to get to the end faster, to get there with more money, success, whatever, to not lose as many lives, you'd want to know, right?
Right.
And it's the same with like surrounding yourself with people that can do this stuff in real life, right? Who can do the social media, who can do the videos, who can, help grow in a positive way. And that's why I love the Gittimer thing. That's why I love connecting with people like you and having these chats, and the people that are on here, like Tom, this is cool.
I would put common sense. And Tom had a great one: success leaves clues, which is very true. And then excuse me, Tim. I keep calling you Tom. I don't know what every salesperson have met in the last 3 months against any books read, pros. Yeah, I mean, I
Yeah.
go back to this, and Ken, if you're listening, or you probably will be, it's professionals have coaches, amateurs don't. And I think that's what this whole thing encompasses with
Yeah.
emerging sales winners and all these different
Yeah.
groups, just like what we're doing here.
Yeah. We're all in the same boat. We're all looking to get to the same place. We're just at different areas. And these guys are making a great point, because there's 3 different types of people in life. There's people that watch what's going on and wonder what's going on. There's people that make shit happen, right?
Right.
The worst type of person, and this is what I sometimes fall prey to, is I know all this shit. I just don't put a lot of it into action sometimes.
Right.
Like crazy, right?
I think we're guilty of that. And I'll admit that at times,
Yeah.
you're hunking it down, and then you're like, man,
Yeah.
I need a break, or I need to, and that's when you need to crank. For instance,
Absolutely.
yesterday I had to take my son to Greensboro,
Yep.
North Carolina. Oh my God, that's a 5.5 hour ride. We did it. Going up was cool. Coming back was a challenge, man, because I had to stop and get some coffee on the way back. My wife drove, I think, for an hour on the way up. And, it just, Hey, Randy, Chevy, and Tim, you rock stars.
Yeah.
Okay, Phil Geix, thank you.
Yeah.
Shout outs. But what happened was on the way back, that last 2 hours was a bit of a challenge. But then all of a sudden, I got my mind off of how tired I was. I kept thinking about other things,
Yeah.
and boom, I was
I
just,
would have
I'm
used
okay.
that drive to listen to, The Art of Exceptional Living by Jim Rohn or something like that. See at the Top by Zig Ziglar.
Right.
But no, Tim makes such a valid point, because there's people that sit and bitch and they think they know everything, and they don't do anything. Then there's people that work hard but know nothing, right? They break their back all their lives.
Mhm.
There's people that know it and do it, and those are the very, very successful people. And the worst, though, is the guy that knows it and doesn't do anything.
Right.
Right. And that's, you may as well be the idiot who knows nothing, or the guy who's breaking his back. Because with that wasted knowledge, it's just such a shame. And I've been guilty of it. We all have it at
Right.
times. We can't beat ourselves up over it. We're human. Just got to keep rolling on.
And here's my thing. So, I'm always going to relate to baseball. Like tomorrow, I'm trying to figure out when I'm going to do my 15 minutes of fame on Mark's message where I talk about sales concepts. But I always like to ask this question, Tony.
Yeah.
What was your 3-2 count or moment in life when you said, I had enough of this BS and I'm going forward and I don't care what other people think?
I've had a few. My dad died in 2006 from cancer. I'm not comfortable sharing the other one, but it was.
That's okay.
It happened a few years ago, and it really, really made me rethink life and everything. And it was that's when I found all the books by Jeffrey Gitomer, and it changed my life, because
Right.
life is so short. And
Right.
you know what? And I people think, oh, he's always happy all the time, and I've have a nice family, everything. But we've all had problems through our lives,
Right.
and it's how we pick ourselves up, and how we what's that saying? What doesn't kill me makes me stronger, right?
Right.
And that's just how I live my life, man. That's why I'm authentic and I care about people. And the last couple of days I've gone through drive-throughs, whether it was Starbucks or whatever, and I bought the people stuff behind me regardless of the price. I didn't care, right?
Randy, feel free to throw in your knowledge too, because you are wisdom oriented, my friend.
Randy's a beauty too. He's awesome. I love those guys. They're just wicked. I'm so lucky to have all these.
Phil, thank you for pointing that out to us. Stick to itness, and
Yeah.
I guess that's kind of one of my strong points. And I love what Tom has here. What does that mean? Okay.
It seems like a play I would have hit into too. There's I don't know, like a triple play maybe.
Right.
Do you use sticky notes? Do you write down your goals and put them on your mirrors and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, like you talking like this stuff here.
Yeah, I did that. People. I don't know if people are going to believe this or not, or think I'm like crazy, but I truly believe you get what you give in the universe. It comes back to you tenfold. It really does, right? And being positive and being happy for people when they win. Like I mentioned earlier, I lost that contest. I made a video to congratulate the guy that won. Right?
That's cool.
Yeah, because you know what, man? I tried my best. I didn't win, but now I can replicate the success and get better for next time if it comes up, if I want that. I went to England in 1998 to try out for semi-pro hockey, and my parents are English.
Very nice.
So it wasn't an import. I went there. I got the dark tooth. I don't know if you can. Anyways, and I came home, and I realized that was it. And then the next stage of my life, I always wanted to help people, and I didn't realize that sales was the way to help people, right? That's why, but like I said, I'm selling you on this now. You're either buying it or you're not. It doesn't have to be a financial transaction.
And I think it goes back to three things. And I know Jeffrey's talked about it. All these people have talked about it. When you're dealing with people, the first thing they're going to say is, hey, do I like Tony Thorpe? Can I trust Tony Thorpe?
100%,
and is Tony Thorpe competent enough? And does he care about me? Can he help me? And is he competent? And does he really care about me? Yeah. And I think once that comes through, you get through all that other, what I call mumbo jumbo. It's kind of like doing a two-step. And, the other day I told a customer, hey, why don't you just tell me what you want? And when I said that, here's the situations you've given me about your team. Why don't you just explain to me what you'd like us to do for you and customize a program? And he told me everything. And guess what? We're going to present a proposal to him based on what he's looking for. Because he didn't want a one size fits all brand. He wanted something customized for him, his team, his industry. And thank you, Randy. I use virtual sticky notes now and touch and move every note.
Is there an app for that, Randy? I'm going to message Randy later to find out if there's if that's an.
Is that an app or something?
Maybe it might be. I don't know. I'm the worst. Like, my kids have a Nintendo Switch upstairs. I don't even know how to put the thing together. Like, it's
wow.
That's where I got to practice. 15 minutes each day of using like Excel spreadsheets and just like figuring out all these things that I have trouble with. My wife thinks technology has something out for me though, because like computers crash on me all the time. My passwords just randomly set. It's like, I don't know.
And let me ask you that. So you shared that with me. So when you get into that, you told me about your 3-2 count moment. So what does it, if I had to ask you, and there's no right or wrong here, what does success mean to you, Tony? What does that mean to you?
Oh man. So I'll tell you, like, I wake up every day happy because I know I go to my office. I have so much freedom within the run of the 16 hours. Right. And I can send emails at night. I can send, hippo videos to customers. I can, come home and have a quick power nap. I live 15 minutes from my office, right? Then get back out to go to a meeting and whatever, and I get to see my kids every day. So that's why I feel I'm successful, right? And I've got a beautiful wife that loves me. That's success. I've got
Tom. I don't know. I'm listening. Tom here is John Maxwell certified, but he's just sharing some stuff with us here, and he's writing goals, and then he goes income, And there's another subject matter. People get hung up on dollars and cents. Like some people feel they're not worthy of making that money.
That's where I think, because we all have insecurities and we all have issues. That's just human. But I think, like I said earlier, once you stop worrying about other people's opinions and you start believing in yourself, right? Because like Zig Ziglar says, we're born to win, right? So you just, it's not easy. We all have our moments, but that's when we rely on our especially people like Randy and these guys. Like I could message Randy. He actually helped me on Friday, a couple of weeks back. Facebook, I had a horrible morning. People didn't show up for work.
Randy, I want to get you to know you closer, my brother. I know we've kind of touched, on a virtual level, but I'd love to have a phone call with you sometime.
Oh, he's a shark, a great white shark, right, Randy? He's smart, man. He's a good dude.
I can tell.
He messaged me and said, he sent me a voice message, said, what, could just be bad 20 minutes, buddy. Just shake it off. And you know what? He's right. It's just like in baseball. Like, how many times have you seen a good hitter go up to bat and struggle and beat themselves up? You got to forget about it. Move on to the next one, right?
Right. So, except on the high school or youth level, mom and dad can't let it go. I've seen that.
That's their issues that they need to resolve.
Yeah. Thank you, Randy. I will take you up on that, sir.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful thing. I appreciate that.
He's awesome. You're going to get a lot of insight. He's just a wicked dude.
Yeah. And that's my whole point of doing this. I'm not the guy. I'm just striving to better myself.
And that's all we can do every day, Mark. That's all we can do every day, right? And you just, you're only in competition with the person in the mirror. That's it. I posted that on Facebook last night, right? Because I was really feeling that. And you know what? My definition of success, yours and everyone that's watching is going to be totally, completely different, right?
Sure.
And, it depends on where you live. Like the money, taxes, all that crap that goes, through your head. But you just got to remember, you're only in competition with yourself. Work on yourself. Do some simple things. Drink more water. Eat more vegetables. Read more books. Go for a walk. All the stuff your grandparents and parents said,
Phil, if you only know and knew what I see and hear sometimes, we've had to eject parents or dad coaches. I had a guy come after my partner. Now on the high school level, it's interesting, but yeah,
yeah,
parents put so much pressure on their kids. It breaks my heart. Like if a kid strikes out, like, do you think he goes up there? I mentioned this in one of my talks.
yeah.
You actually think he's up there to strike out? No. Do you think he's in the field to make an error? No. So, get off his case or her
Well,
case, it's softball or whatever.
well, I'll
Stop.
tell you, Mark. I coach a couple of men's teams that I play and coach, and there's a
Uh-huh.
couple of guys that played on my team, and they've made mistakes, and I said, keep your head up. This team isn't like that. We're all here to make mistakes. I said to the guys in the dugout, I don't want to hear anyone bitching and complaining because we've all come out here just to play a kid's game.
Right. It's a game.
Absolutely. And it's just like, let's just be positive, encourage each other on. And you're just getting exercise, hanging out with some friends. There's too much shit going on to worry about stuff like that. But it all relates to life. And I tell my kids the same thing, right? Like Jeffrey Gibbs says, they knock something over, first spill of the day. Right. And because we're trying to instill confidence and a positive attitude in them, and they're going to see it through us. So my wife and I, we work on it daily. And, as much as I practice the sales stuff, it's just
let the kids or players of any age. And yeah, thank you,
absolutely.
Phil. And that's, you know what? The kids are great. It's, I got to tell you, it's not the kids, even on high, it's not them.
Yeah, I agree.
They need to take a chill pill and focus on what you're doing. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And, you brought up a great point because I had somebody, I won't tell you who, but it was during one of my calls, and they more or less told me to don't ever, blankety blank call me again. And I just kind of chuckled about it. And, look, you don't get it. I'm in a meeting right now. And he picked up the phone. I didn't do it, but I wanted to. I said, then why the hell did you pick up the phone if you're in a meeting? But I didn't go there. I didn't want to do that. And I said, oh, I'm disrupting you. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
And he just went on a tirade about, I'm tired of you guys calling me, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, I thought you were someone else. So, yeah, pretty interesting.
It happened. Craig's watching. Is he? I got this.
Craig. Uh-oh. Parents try to relive the youth through their children. Just like, Craig, that is so true. That is so true, man.
Yeah, we'll leave that on. I just messed my what hair I have left.
And look at Tim Lord. Bring it, Tony. Love to hear what you have to say. Yeah, thank you, Tim.
Tim's he is such a good dude, and he motivates me too, and he just says it how it is. I had a great Zoom call with him, and we talk sports, we talk business, just life. It's really cool. Like when people say how shit 2020's been, I just like shake my head. I'm like, you just have to adjust. It's like, it was like shitty for about 2-3 weeks. And I've made all these great new friends. I'm growing as a human. I'm learning. It's just, man, it's so wicked. It's so good. And I'm so.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Phil, I'm sorry, but Phil did do Randy, he talked about engage, don't exist. Yeah. Engage in all aspects of life, and.
Yeah, Randy, spot on as always, buddy. Love it. That's true. Yeah. Bill,
and then we got Craig.
I met Craig through the Emerging Sales Winners, and we were in the Mega Mind group. He actually mailed me this, and that's how cool is that, right?
That is cool.
Like I'm not a real football fan. I'm gonna watch the Bills now. My wife told me I'm not allowed to because when I fall in love with something, I go all in, right? Like when it came to learning about sales and reading, I'm all in. Hockey, all in. Baseball, all in. I can't do anything half-assed. That's why it's.
See, you have a very likable personality, and that is a must.
I appreciate that. I do. I really do. And it's just something my dad instilled on me. And when he passed away at his funeral, I have a book that a lot of the guys that he played soccer with, that he worked with, wrote in. And they all said he was a gentleman. He was a class act. He was really kind. A lot of the guys that were there, my dad was English. These guys were Irish and Scottish, and in Britain they take a bit of jabs at each other, right? The English were kind of brutal to them, right? But they said
Right.
they said he was the best Englishman they ever met, so it was really cool, you know. Like, so I wanted
Right.
to try and live my life like that and just be kind to others, help others. I see my dad when I was 6 years old take his shirt off of his back. We were in White Rock, and it was a First Nations fella who had too much to drink, and he liked my dad's shirt, and it was about cranes and getting it erect. It was
Right.
a joke, right? So my dad took the shirt off and gave it to him. I said, "Did you know that guy, Dad?" And the guy's name was Dino, and it stuck with me for my, like, to this day. 38 years later, my dad literally gave his shirt to this guy because he liked it.
Wow.
And it was stuff like that. Like, my dad was a big Beatles fan. He was a big John Lennon fan. That's where my love of the Beatles and music came from. My mom was a DJ in England in the 60s.
Cool.
Yeah. So I've traveled, for work, for pleasure.
Very cool.
And I get to experience different cultures, and I just love meeting people and learning, about where they're from. When I moved to Nova Scotia, the first thing I did, I started learning about the Pirates of the Atlantic. Yeah, I had to, because Oak Island's here, right? I took a tour.
Right.
Super cool. And a friend of mine was with me who lost his arm in a workplace accident, and I spoke at his wedding about how Mark Johnson inspired me, because he lost his arm and he thought about killing himself. And he went in a bodybuilding contest. He plays soccer, he plays hockey, and he plays baseball. And you know what? Life gave him a shitty hand, but he bounced back. And that's an inspiration, right?
That's cool. Very cool. Well, Tony, the only other question I have for you here is it's about authenticity. My two young sons, one of them's like 23, the other one's 19, whatever. They always talk about be authentic. As a matter of fact, my oldest said, "Hey, Dad, you're working on your brand, aren't you?" The other night when I interviewed Eric, and I kind of chuckled and I said, "You saw that?" He goes, "Yeah, man, just keep doing it." And so, everybody knows how old I am or young I am. And I've had people tell me, why are you doing this? Blah, blah, blah. You ought to retire. Yeah, whatever. But can you be authentic, when you say that? For me, that's like be real, be raw, be resilient. That's my version of it. I know when you use that word raw, people sometimes freak out, but I'm just saying, just be a person, man, and don't put them in a box. And that's what, like we kid about the younger generation. That's what they want. They want the truth. They want you to be upfront. And they don't want.
You're so correct. That's why, I don't have an interview behind me. This is I'm in my Yankees. This is where
I noticed all this. I'm looking at this paraphernalia back here.
I got Casey Stengel back there. I got Miller Huggins. So I got some of the great managers, Joe McCarthy and DiMaggio, some of the legends. This is my Legends Corner. But
cool.
That's who I am. I'm a huge Yankees fan. I'm a Canucks fan, right? I'm going to be a Bills fan now, and I do. This is who I am. I'm a Derby County supporter. They're garbage, and I support England for when the national team plays. If anyone can see that.
All right.
That's just who I am, man. And I collect things. I collect guitars. I rebuild guitars, and I try to encourage people to be the best they can. I want to share positive messages each day. I love just randomly messaging people saying, "Have a wicked day." And just, it doesn't matter who they are. Right. And, it doesn't matter. People say you're too old to do this. Who cares?
Right.
Are you having fun doing this? Because I am.
I'm having a blast.
I love doing this. And I love,
what's funny about it is when you talk about other things, like some people go work for a large organization.
Yeah.
Tom kind of knows where I'm going to go with this, I'll bet. And others, they just latch on to that, and that's the only thing they're going to do. So
I think
what I'm getting at is revenue streams. Other people do other things as well as their primary job. Is that wrong? And to me, I never had a problem with that. But some companies, they I don't know about today, but back in the day, they frowned on all that stuff. And
I know,
and with what's happening in our world today, the reason I'm bringing this up, look at the people, and I've had my own boss for 25 plus years and a 2-week severance. There's got to be more to life than that.
Absolutely. Absolutely, there is, and I think that's where we, you make these connections and we grow as people. We learn and we do these things, and we, like your boy said, be authentic.
Right.
And you know what? Like a lot of times, people get wrapped up, and the people that are watching in this group, they won't, because
Right.
we've gone to that level, right? Life isn't a bed. Life is a ladder. We have to keep climbing it, right, day by day, and hopefully growing. And like Tim loves the Red Sox. I love the Yankees. It's like, who cares?
Right.
Tim's a wicked dude.
Right.
He's not defined by being a Red Sox fan, and I'm not defined by being a Yankees fan.
Kind of what I told Gittimer one time on his live. I said, "Yep, Wilt set the standard, great athlete, but Russell won all the rings." And I know Ron kind of laughed when I told him that. I was just messing with him, but everybody has their preferences.
Oh, absolutely, and that's where you see like the stupid stuff in England with the soccer fans fighting and stuff, because they define themselves, they tie themselves to that community, to that team, and that's all they have going for them, and it's really sad. And it's the same with business and politics and all that stuff. That's why I just don't bother with it. Sports
Right.
is a little more. It's we can have a laugh, right? Like I meant, Ashley, you're a Braves fan, right?
Yes, I am.
And you're you're a Penguins fan for hockey, is that right?
Well, actually, Flyers is what
Flyers.
I grew up on because I
Yeah.
came from Philly. And look, here we got.
Saying hi to each other.
Yeah, that's cool.
Oh, it is cool. Like Jeffrey
I
said.
wanted to share this comment that Tom, leave people in a better place than you encountered them. That's awesome.
That's so true. And that's like, if I'm gonna, like, what I want to instill to my kids is just, and what I say to people, and I was gonna get a lighthouse on a Anyvu made for me, because I want to be the light in the world, to hopefully light up the dark place, help people, be the light you want to see, right? And that's it, man. That's my secret.
Yeah, see, even Randy agreed with Tom. So there you go, Tom. You got the shark agreed with you, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I really appreciate you taking the time to have.
I enjoyed this, Tony, and how you and I met. It's really crazy. I've met more people through emerging sales winners and the 959 group, as I call it, getting Gittimerized.
Yeah.
And if those of you that don't know what it is, go to Facebook, and at 959, you'll see the man himself, Jeffrey Gittimer, the king of sales. He'll be out there. Yep. And he'll pontificate the finer points of life and sales, trials, tribulations, sports, whatever you want to talk about. But it's good stuff. And there's a message and a method behind Jeffrey's madness. I kiddingly say Jeffrey reminds me of the kid that there's horse shit under the Christmas tree. And most kids would freak out and say, look what I got. And Jeffrey's running around the house looking for the pony. That's That's just the epitome of a Jeffrey Gittimer. He's got a childlike quality that doesn't stop.
He's been like, it's like his wisdom, and it was from afar. It was wild because it connected, like the way he thinks, the way he writes is very similar to my stepdad, who came from Germany, right? My dad was more of a union guy. He was more of a play it safe guy. He never took risks, right? And God bless him. My mom was the entrepreneur. My mom was the one that wanted to make things happen, give us a better life. She was the one that encouraged him to move from England. He had a good trades job there in a union to Canada, not knowing anyone, not having a safety net. And when I got fed up in BC 6 years ago, I said, you know what, to my wife, let's just go to Nova Scotia. I want to be by the ocean. Homes are cheaper there. And, the crime and drug, the drug trafficking crap is a lot less than sadly than Vancouver. And we had to make that choice, right? Sometimes people, like Tim said, you got to go. You can read, you can do whatever, but you just got to go and do it.
Well, Tony, I truly enjoyed this. And as I tell everybody, this is Mark's message, and this is a different format that I've been doing. I want to bring in more guests. Hey, Randy, it could be you. Tim, it could be you.
All of them.
One good one, it could be you.
Yeah.
Tom, it could be you. And just talk to them and get inside their head and what's making them tick and what makes them successful. I think that's important, and to share that content, hopefully this reached some people. It made sense. And
Yeah.
as always on Mark's message, I'm going to end this. So my three things: be a leader, be a friend, and be a service. And if you want, you can swing along with me. In baseball terms, Ron knows what I'm going to do, but I always talk about this and swinging for the fences, right? And that's important.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to take a big swing. And who cares if you strike out rather, just get up and take care of business. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
But it always
said it. Babe Ruth said it. His number's on my wall here, or over here. He said it. You know, everything he does is big. I swing big, I hit big, I miss big. Everything,
right.
You know, and that is words to live by. But hey, thank you for having me.
No, it was my pleasure to have you and everybody else that joined us. Thank you so much. Feel free to share out this content. Tomorrow I'll be doing my 15 minutes of fame.
I just want to saying, if I could say, just be kind to one another, love one another, don't text and drive, and just be cool. Just be cool, everyone.
Tremendous. Tony, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
With that, I'm going to get out of here, everybody. And again, peace to everybody. Have a very, very productive week, right?
And love.
Wishing everybody success.
Absolutely.
So I'll catch you later on, gentlemen.
Take care. Thanks again.
All right. Thanks, Tom. See you, Tony.